Hello dear friends, it's another dear Alexander here and welcome to the weekly vlog. In this episode of the weekly vlog I want to talk to you about how the spiritual teacher OSHO helped me with the teachings about intimacy, to understand many deep things about how to relate with other people, about my relationships and in general the relationships with people. So stay tuned and I will talk to you about this immediately. So many years ago, when I was starting my spiritual path, I was a person that had a lot of issues with intimacy because I didn't know what it is, and actually I had a very big problem to express my emotions to the other people, to express my truth and to convey who I was, basically to everyone, but even more to, let's say, to the other pole. Yes? And when I entered my path, gradually I was introduced, among other teachings, to the teachings also of the spiritual teacher OSHO. And this teacher specifically had a book written about intimacy. Actually, he didn't write the book. The book was recordings of his discourses about what he was talking about. And his disciples were writing everything down. And out of this, he created his books. So, but anyway, in his book about intimacy, he described very well what it was my true inner experience. And through this kind of teachings of OSHO, I was able to understand, wow, this is really happening to me. And also I was able to understand what I have to do to get out of the fear of intimacy. And exactly here is the first point that OSHO was making in this book, that we are all afraid of intimacy. Although it is something that we all want so very much, and it is something that we would like to have in our life, maybe one of the biggest things that we are missing in our life is true intimacy with other people. We feel that it is very hard to open ourselves. We feel that it is very hard to open even to our own partners. And we feel because of this that nobody actually understands us. And the truth is that it's not that people don't understand us, is that we are unable to open the true intimate part of who we are in the world. And of course, we present something else. Instead of this, we present a self that it is not exactly who we truly are. And then, of course, people perceive this, and of course, then people misunderstand us. So, the first thing that OSHO was saying is that, yes, we are afraid of being intimate because we don't understand what is intimacy. And he was explaining that intimacy, it is when you can be in touch with your innermost core, the core of your being. So what does this mean, right? We all have a simple understanding in this sense. For example, when we are alone in a room, like when you are alone in your house, you feel differently, you behave differently, you walk differently, you sit down differently than when you are around people. Yes? And this difference between who you are when you are alone and who you are when you are with others is the difference between being yourself and being somebody else. So, in few words, we are trying to present a self to the people around us, even to the most close people, even to our family. We are not exactly ourselves. Yes, even from our family, we are hiding some aspects of ourselves, and this true core of who you are, when something really you know very deep inside, or something touches you and you know that you have this kind of core being inside of you that also is wounded and we are trying to protect it, this, through this core of your being, the more intimate part of yourself, through this you can have also intimacy with the other people. So as long as we are afraid to reveal this deeper part of who we are, of course, because we are afraid we'll be judged or will be exploited and so on, But as long as this is covered and we present in the world and we engage with the world with a different aspect, like a personality that we want to present and so on, yes, this is impossible then to find intimacy. And of course, because we don't understand our part in it, we usually believe that the other people see us, but they don't understand us, or they don't want to relate with us in another way, more intimate. And of course, we would like that the other people will show us the path. So we would like that the other people will make the first step to open up, and then we will be safe, and we can trust a little bit step by step more and more the other people, and then we can become more and more step by step intimate. But the thing is that if you want to find intimacy in your life, you need necessarily you to make the first step, and basically, of course, not to go like a victim and open up your more, I don't know, dirty secrets to somebody and then expect that he will understand you. No, not something like that. First, you have to become intimate with yourself, to really understand who you are, explore who you are, what you have inside, and also accept this. Because even if you will find inside of you some things that maybe you don't like so much, first you have to accept them, and to accept them like you would accept any other being around you which is not perfect. For example, you accept nature that is not perfect. You accept animals that are not perfect. You may have a pet in your house and you accept it, although your pet may go and pee in your carpet, but you still love this animal, yes? And you understand that life is not perfect, maybe your car is not perfect, maybe your house is not perfect, but somehow we love all these things. We accept them as they are, and we try to see the good things that they have. And we want to love everything, and we try to love everything. The same you have to do with yourself, and this is exactly where we are making the first mistake, let's say, or the first, where is the first obstacle? We have inability to accept intimately who we are, and we have learned from early childhood to condemn some aspects of who we are. And this exactly happens from our childhood, because when we were kids, our parents were condemning specific aspects of who we are, and they were teaching us that, no, this is not acceptable, this is not acceptable, this is wrong, this is bad, you are a bad boy, you are a bad girl. And they educated us, they brought us up in this way. So we internalized that there are some aspects that if you reveal, you are going to be reprimanded, you are going to be hurt, and then we learn to hide these aspects. And gradually, as we were growing, we somehow forgot that these things that we are hiding, even from our own selves, are actually how we were born. Yes, maybe according to some other people, these aspects are not perfect or not great, but this is who we are, and we were born like this. And yes, maybe for others, this is because they would not do something like that, but you would do something like that, and this is really who you are. And the thing is not to try to become perfect, but to become who you are. This is like the actual perfection that we are searching in personal evolution, personal development. We are searching, it's like we say that sometimes it's the path to self-perfection or to perfection, but doesn't mean to become perfect externally, like a perfectionist, for example, but to become exactly as you were born to be, because this is like the perfect creation that it was created, to become again yourself. To know thyself is the path to perfection. And by studying this understanding that the teachings of OSHO helped me to see, I realized that this conditioning is what blocks us. And basically this conditioning, we can see it takes three specific forms of non-acceptance of our own self. So we cut, like with the scissors, the root of intimacy, starting from not accepting yourself. And then, of course, we go out in the world and we're hiding these true, deeper aspect because it was condemned, and then we are afraid to open into the unknown, into the world, because the world is dangerous and it will condemn us even more. Imagine if your parents were condemning you about these aspects. Imagine if you will show who you are in the whole world, you are going to be maybe killed, who knows, right? We have all this fear, and this is what stops us to become free and intimate. The fear of being rejected, being exploited, being punished and condemned. So there are three aspects that this plays out, this fear. And the first aspect has to do with the physical body. So we do not accept our physical body and everything related to the physical body. So maybe you do not like your face or your body or how you look like, or maybe you don't accept your sexuality or your physical needs or desires or the way you walk or the way you act physically, right? All these things, if you cannot accept how you feel, how your body feels to be, it becomes a very big issue, and you are always trying to hide your physical presence. And if this have been condemned from your parents, you become ashamed that you are like this physically and you act in this way physically, or that you feel, for example, these physical sensations in your body. Yes, because many times you would have been told that, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. Of course, some people do not like their physical body, let's say, because they, out of wrong way of life and out of negative emotions and negative lifestyle and generally negative way they treat themselves, their physical body also shows later some signs of decay, degradation. For example, they become sick or weak physically, or their body doesn't evolve very much, or they become overweight or too thin and so on. And then they look their physical presence and they see this representation of this bad aspect in them, this mistreatment of their self. And some people hearing what I say now will say, yes, Alexander, for you that maybe you look normal, it's good, but look at me how I am. Look how tired I look, or how old I look, or how ugly I look, or how fat I look, or how thin I look, and so on. I'm not like really well. So in this case, I want to tell you that it is not, the problem is not the way you look, is the problem the way you have become. Because this kind of, if you have become like in an unnatural way, in a not good way for you, it is because out of a wrong way of living. And this, the good news is that this can change. For example, if you are too skinny and weak because you were mistreating yourself, or too fat, or too tired, or full of bad habits that your physical body is sick and you don't have stamina and you don't have ability and you are always feel weak and so on, all these things can change. You can change your diet, you can change your lifestyle and become more athletic, more active. You can actually transform the physical body. This is very good because the physical body can actually shift and change. But for psychological reasons, for example, you throw all your psychological problems into the physical body, you mistreat it, maybe you drink alcohol, maybe you smoke, maybe many things, and you destroy your physical body, and then maybe after a few years with this kind of wrong way of living, now your physical body also display this kind of wrong thing, and you say, oh, look, how have I become? How can I like this? How can I accept this? Yes, you don't accept this because you know that this is wrong, that you have done something wrong, and your body should be different. And you can change this, as I said. And if you will change this, maybe you will become normal again, healthy, fit. Like, you can change this, but still you may see that you are not like some kind of supermodel or something like that. Maybe you are not the most handsome, or maybe already you lost your hair, like I have lost my hair, for example, or you are not very tall, or you are more tall than normal, things like that. And this is actually not something wrong with your body. This is how you were created from God, And this you have to accept, because this is beautiful if you will be able to accept it and use it as naturally was given to you. Because everything that nature gives you, it is beautiful. This is why also sometimes we can see an animal that it is not the most beautiful, but in this kind of ugly face, for example, a dog can be ugly physically, like a bulldog or something, but you can love specifically this because many people say it's so cute, this ugly, funny face. Yes, because it is cute actually, and but only if you are natural. Even if you are the most handsome physically and symmetric face or body and so on, if you will treat though your spirit and your psyche in a wrong way, and you will live in a bad way representing this bad emotional state, eventually you will start appearing in an ugly way, physically even. And there are people who could be handsome, they have very good characteristics, but you can see in their physical presence this kind of inner conflicts and problems. Okay, so the first thing that we have to accept and discriminate and separate is our physical body. Accept the physical body as it was created, and if there are some things that you can change and you are mistreating your body, please fix them, these problems, and become healthy first. Fit, healthy, so that you can enjoy your physical body. And then if your face or your body is not perfect, actually you will have a lot of people that they will like you as you are. A lot of people. The majority, they will like you if you are healthy and psychologically and emotionally and physically healthy and basically fit. You will have a nice physical appearance. The second category or aspect of ourselves that we don't accept is our emotional part, our emotions, and some aspects specifically of our emotions. There are two main things that we don't accept emotionally. And these two things are things that are intrinsic things of every human being, and they are normal, but somehow society condemns them and presents them as not so good. But only for some people is good. What are these aspects? The first emotional aspect that we condemn is our need to be powerful, to feel powerful feelings, to feel confident, to be powerful, and to be able to present ourselves as we want and to do whatever we want in this world. Society condemns this as egotistical, as arrogant, and the like. But of course, there are some powerful people in the world that they can do whatever they want, and they say that they are after power in the world and so on, and they want to be powerful, and we admire actually these people. Of course, we also somehow criticizing them because we think that they want power over others, like to be powerful, but over the masses of people. So in comparison to be powerful. And if it is the case for these people, and they want to have power only for themselves, this is wrong, of course. But the pursuit of power is a very natural thing. All the animals in the nature, in the wild nature, they are powerful. All the plants, they are powerful. We live in a world, in a planet, that the more powerful being survives and continues to grow. Power is a representation of the divine power. This is also why we call it the power of God and so on. Power is something divine, is something from the creation. Look, the universe, how powerful it is. Look, the planet, how big power it is. You can imagine what kind of powers keep the whole planet rotating in the empty space, among other powers. I mean, these are immense powers we cannot even imagine. Everything in the manifested world functions based on power. And you as a human being to be weak and powerless is not healthy, is not normal. Of course, one thing is to feel powerful inside, and another thing is to try to show that you are powerful, so that the others tell you, wow, you are so powerful, and so that you feel, you see how powerful I am, because the others recognize it. So in this sense, of course, you have to demonstrate your power, you have to win in a kind of a competition or something like that, or to impose your power to somebody else. and to prove also to yourself that you are powerful because of this. But we're not talking about this power. The power that you are seeking for is power that comes from your own being, by have overcome all the weak aspects of your personality that try to convince you of the opposite, that you are actually weak. And this is also part of our education, right? But here the point I want to make is that the need to have power in your emotions is something natural, and you should not condemn it. If you are finding inside of you the wish to be more powerful, this is natural. Just learn to control this and to not become, to grab from somebody else and through a competition to prove to yourself that you are powerful. You can become powerful just on your own. If you go to the gym and you start lifting weights, your physical body will become more and more powerful, let's say. This is a good thing. The same, you can train your feelings if you will learn to express yourself freely more and more, and to go for what you are really wanting without having to step on somebody else to get what you want, then you will become powerful. And the second aspect of our emotions that we are condemning and don't accepting in ourselves, which block ourselves to be intimate with the world and with our partners and with the people around, is that it is very bad to constantly be in love and share love and live in love. Yes, the people who are too much into the love energy, we call them naive, we call them weak, we call them stupid, and so on. And we were taught from the beginning of our life that you have to be strong, but not in the right sense. Strong like to have a strong ego and to never allow anybody to tell you anything, and then you will be happy. Because in this world, everybody wants to take something from you. So be careful. You will love basically only your family, your own kids. You will have some people to love, but the rest of the world, leave them alone. They are your competitors, something like that. This is not true. The need of the emotional aspect of who we are really, very deeply, is to love everything. This is why also we would like to love the whole world, like the plants, the trees, the animals, and all the people. And the little children, they know this, and they are born in love. And when they are small, and you were small, when we are small, we love everything, naturally. And you all have this experience to be in a restaurant, and from another table there, from another family, a small kid comes and offers you something, or start playing with you, or even caress you and love you, and you feel so good that an unknown person comes and is so intimate with you. But we as grown-ups, we are afraid to actually love. And this is why we are searching for love for all our life, and we cannot find. Because you cannot find love somewhere. Nobody will give you love, because love as health, as power, is something that you cannot get from outside. It's something that you have to grow, cultivate from inside. Searching for love from somebody else is like it is like a flower, a rose, searching for aroma from another rose. So this is the second aspect that we do not accept about ourselves, and the emotional aspect, and we have to accept about ourselves if we want to become intimate with ourselves first and to understand what intimacy is. Because I repeat, if we cannot accept who we are, intimacy will not appear in our life. Intimacy starts first for you becoming intimate with who you really are, with yourself, with your true being, as it is. And the third aspect that we don't accept ourselves, and by society is condemned, and we are trying to avoid it, which is truly intrinsic part, is our individuality. Society is teaching you that you have to become like somebody else, but in reality you have an individuality. Your individuality is unique. You were born to be unique, and this has a very big spiritual purpose. You were born to be unique in order to represent a new aspect of the divine power. Like everything actually in existence is not repeated, because through all these different expressions of the universe, of the divine power of God, let's say like this, through all these different expressions, we can actually arrive to the essence. Because the essence of what is the divine power, what we call in our school divine power or God and so on, the essence of all this cannot be represented with a form exactly. So all the forms and all the expressions of all human beings, if we talk about human beings specifically, they are representations of the divine and may be different, completely different. So the way you sit, stand, walk, talk, eat, behave, laugh, whatever you do, the way you are actually, and not trying to match this with some external archetype, but as you were born, your unique individuality, this uniqueness, if it is supported with confidence and it would not be condemned, this would be just the unique expression of the divine power. And of course, society is based on people becoming like pattern-like, to follow some patterns, because then people can be put in groups. People can identify themselves with being like this or like that, or belonging to this group or belonging to that group. So they get some characteristics from these groups and they identify with them, and then they are trying to match and to behave like these characteristics. And in this way you are deviating actually from yourself, and you are trying to become something else that it is socially acceptable. And in this way you are losing yourself, in this way you are disempowering yourself, and through believing this kind of false understanding of who you are, you can be also exploited, manipulated, directed to another way, and you will think for the rest of your life that there's something wrong with you because you cannot completely find happiness following this pattern or this pattern or this pattern. So what this do to us? All our life we are searching to what to identify ourselves with, to what style or to what way to match with, and to find ourselves through this. For example, what kind of music you like? Oh, we identify, I'm a rocker, or I am classical music lover or something like that. And then you make this a sense of self, and you say, I'm like this type of person, or like that type of person, or I'm more a rebel or something like that. Or I like this football team or this football team, so you identify with this. Or I dress in this style or in another style, or I know this knowledge, or I'm a spiritual person, or I am a scientist, or I am an athlete, or I am whatever. And through all these identifications we try to become something that it is good in some level, so to get some value out of this. And of course, in this way exactly you are losing yourself, your true self, which cannot be identified with anything externally, and it is unique, completely unique. And of course, if you would follow yourself, of course you would still follow some external things that you would like, but you would not identify with them. You would not try to match all these things, and you would do some of them in your own unique way, and nobody would actually tell you anything. So yes, this is the situation, how it is, and the way to intimacy will pass through these three main aspects of your life that you have to become intimate with and accept yourself exactly as it is. First is your physical body, and anything around your physical body, you have to accept what it is there, what you have there. Second, it is your emotional aspect, what you really want, your soul really desires. Don't condemn this. Try to see it from another point of view, to understand that if you want anything like love or power or something like that, as I explained to you, it is natural, just to do it in the right way, but it is natural, and you should have these things, because these are like the building blocks of your psyche. And also to accept fully your individuality, your uniqueness, and your way. You have to find your way. finding thyself, knowing thyself, meaning fully going your own way, not against somebody else's way, not try to show that your way is the best, but following yourself simply, not becoming somebody else. But I repeat, this does not mean that your way is the right way. There is no right way. It is just your way. You have to understand the difference. And yes, these are the three things that Osho's book about intimacy helped me and helped me to wake up to see the truth there and work with myself in the right direction. And if you will do the same, I recommend you also this book. It's called Intimacy. And if you will do the same, you will have very big benefit in your life. So this is what I wanted to talk to you about. It was a long video, but I believe that intimacy is very important. I didn't go in some other aspect of intimacy, like how to approach a woman or a man, or how to touch somebody or something like that, because these are like the periphery of your being confident on who you are. If you will understand the intimacy in the way that I explained to you, you will actually 99% succeed in to be able to express yourself exactly as it is, and you will be able to receive also from the world the right answer, because the world is ready to give you everything if you will be able to be yourself. If you deny yourself, if you deny this aspect of your intimacy, then also you will see rejection from the world, because always the world wants to teach us the path to the truth. This is why we are constantly rejected, and everything in the world we live in is very difficult, because we are trying to approach all these things through the false personality. We try, of course, it's not our fault, this is our education, this is how we're being condemned. But life wants to teach us, to help us to free ourselves. So if you will find your way to yourself, the way to yourself, then you will see immediately life rewards you. And if you see that you are doing something and life rewards you, this is a good sign, you should follow this. Okay, well, if you want to hear more about this, I invite you to come know our school. It's a school of knowledge and wisdom. It's a school of the being, where we are studying all these aspects practically also. And I'm helping more than 20 years now students and people who come in our school to understand themselves and arrive to this path to freedom. I will put a link in the description about the WOW Academy, which is the school that I have founded and the community that I have created, where we come together and literally we help each other to evolve. I am a spiritual teacher and shaman with more than 20 years of experience in teaching and transmitting knowledge. So I invite you to our school. And also, I would like to tell you that in this summer, we'll have a very important seminars, which is seminar vacation in Samothraki and Olympus. Also, I will put this link of these events in the description in August in Greece. The Greece now is open. Coronavirus cannot stop you anymore. Come there to have vacation and amazing transformation, health, and knowledge about how to become successful and happy in these conditions in your life as it is right now. And if you would like to see videos more videos like this, you subscribe please to our channel and click the like button, because this helps the algorithm of YouTube to help me to release more videos, motivates me and shows the videos to more people that can get more benefit out of this. So that's what I wanted to tell you. I appreciate you watching this video until the end, and I will see you all in the next week, in the next video. Until the next video, stay hungry for knowledge and transformation. Life is good, wants to help you, wants to teach you. God is with you, and stay focused. Go ahead. Namaste, and see you all soon.